Okay, guys, so tonight at midnight, the pandemic officially expires. And this is major concern for pretty much anybody that knows what's happening for a lot of different reasons. Number one, Title 42 expires, and there's a massive crisis at the border. Number two, Medicaid is now back at its old um, limits and its old statutory requirements, which means up to 18 million Americans are going to be kicked off Medicaid. SNAP has gone back to its old requirements, which means, well, SNAP has already unfortunately gone back to the pre-pandemic benefits, which means the extra benefits have already been off, which means millions of Americans have already been kicked off SNAP benefits. And we're going to see a whole host of other things going to be happening here as well. This happens for a whole host of reasons, but Republicans were putting pressure on President Biden for months to stop the pandemic because this was costing America a lot of money for the Medicaid reasons, the SNAP reasons, the healthcare reasons, a whole host of reasons. But there's some pros, some cons, some good, some bad, depending on who you're talking to. Again, there's all sorts of different left, right, and center reasons because of this. And also with this comes the border problem. And it's happening tonight. Take a listen to this. There's tens of thousands of illegal migrants at the border right now waiting to cross. Even though it's illegal to cross, they're not allowed to come in illegally. A lot of them think they can at midnight. Title 42 expires, and all that really means is it goes back to Title 8. But take a look at what is happening. And you'll also get to see what they call the train of death that some of these migrants come in on. Take a listen here. Also, in this video, Homeland Security Director Alejandro Mayorkas, you'll get to hear directly from him. He will tell you what the border policy is and what they do with migrants that they catch, what happens to them, what happens at the border. You'll get to hear what the new policy is. You'll hear it directly from him in this video. Very important video. Make sure to watch this video all the way to the end.
At the U.S. southern border, the struggle is constant. Illegal crossings, like this one, really tough to watch. Having already clawed through the barbed wire, you could see this young woman frustrated, exhausted, trying to help the other, trapped in a web of sharp metal at the Texas border. From above, you might think they're the only two crossing this day, but the clothes dangling along the miles and miles of fencing say otherwise. For many migrants fleeing countries like Venezuela, Nicaragua, Cuba, and others,
Yo quiero cruzar, pero no sé, no quiero irme tampoco por ilegal.
She says they're going to cross, but she doesn't want to do it illegally. She wants to do it the right way. Entonces no sabes cuándo. You don't know.
with asylum officers. No one we've talked to has been able to secure an appointment yet. Janaisi, not sure she'll ever get one. She lost her phone in a fire a few weeks back. But she and others tell me they've come too far to turn around. Her young daughter carries the marks to prove it.
¿Y qué pasó con la cara?
El sol le quemó.
She says she has some burns still on her face from the sun, from being on top of the train.
The journey to Juarez from southern Mexico is hundreds of miles, so many ride the rails north, on top of freight trains. We caught up with one just as it was arriving into Juarez.
Migrants right on top here. Many of them have made the journey on this train alone for more than 8 hours.
Helado, el cuerpo helado todo.
He said they were 12 hours on the train. He said it was so cold, everything felt like ice.
Mi mamá, el esposo de mi mamá, mi hermano.
His whole family here, and he says now they're going to stay a night, get cleaned up, and prepare to cross into the U.S. A los Estados Unidos, ¿no?
Sí.
But Leonardo's mom is terrified to climb down. Her loved ones, at first, encouraging, then telling her, let's go.
No sé, tengo nervio.
Vamos, se puede.
Part of the train journey north for some is on what's called La Bestia.
En el tren 4 días.
4 días.
¿Y cómo era?
Ay, horrible, mucho frío.
She says they were 4 days on this train. She says horrible, really cold. He says 4 kids, his wife, 4.5 days on the train. ¿Y a dónde van ahora?
Bueno, vamos hacia la frontera.
Ahora, ¿van a cruzar?
Sí, sí.
¿Hoy?
Sí, esperamos que podamos cruzar. Vamos, como quien dice, por ese sueño americano.
And this is where many of them end up. You can see them camped out behind me. Not all of them. This is just a small portion of the thousands of migrants that we've seen cross over here into Ciudad Juarez, trying to cross ultimately into the U.S. Here's the thing, Jake, though. When Thursday comes, and if Title 42 lifts, that by no means says that all these folks can then just go through. In fact, the U.S. is going to fall back on Title 8, which means that these folks will have their chance to claim asylum, to be preliminarily screened, and for their case to be potentially heard. But under Title 42, they didn't have that. They were sent back, in some cases, immediately. However, if they go through that Title 8 process, Jake, and their cases fail, and they don't have enough to prove asylum, they can be banned from the U.S. for some 5 years. So in many cases, the stakes are much higher if they try to cross after Thursday.
In fact, this is so bad that New York has declared a state of emergency. That's right, I said New York. I didn't say Texas. I said New York. Yeah, take a look here. State of emergency declared in New York as Title 42 comes to an end. New York Governor Kathy Hochul declared a state of emergency as pandemic-era immigration policy set to end and border communities brace for surge in crossings. And New York is not anywhere close to the southern border. Yeah. So a lot of states bracing for a massive influx, even if they're not near the border. Here is what Border Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has to say. Take a listen.
As you know, on Thursday, May 11th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, the Title 42 public health order will terminate. At that point, we will once again process people at our southern border using our immigration enforcement authorities under Title 8 of the United States Code. Our overall approach is to build lawful pathways for people to come to the United States and to impose tougher consequences on those who choose not to use those pathways. We are taking this approach within the constraints of a broken immigration system that Congress has not fixed for more than 2 decades, and without the resources we need, personnel, facilities, transportation, and others that we have requested of Congress and that we were not given. We have seen the effectiveness of our approach. More than 100,000 people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela have arrived lawfully through the pathway we have made available to them. And we reduced border encounters from these groups by 90% between December of last year and March of this year. Our president has led the largest expansion of lawful pathways ever. At the same time, we are clear-eyed about the challenges we are likely to face in the days and weeks ahead, which have the potential to be very difficult. Even after nearly 2 years of preparation, we expect to see large numbers of encounters at our southern border in the days and weeks after May 11th. We are already seeing high numbers of encounters in certain sectors. This places an incredible strain on our personnel, our facilities, and our communities with whom we partner closely. Our plan will deliver results, but it will take time for those results to be fully realized, and it is essential that we all take this into account. I cannot overemphasize that our current situation is the outcome of Congress leaving a broken, outdated immigration system in place for over 2 decades, despite unanimous agreement that we desperately need legislative reform. It is also the result of Congress's decision not to provide us with the resources we need and that we requested. Our efforts within the constraints of our broken immigration system are focused on ensuring that the process is safe, orderly, and humane, all while protecting our dedicated workforce and our communities. Let me be clear. The lifting of the Title 42 public health order does not mean our border is open. In fact, it is the contrary. Our use of our immigration enforcement authorities under Title 8 of the United States Code means tougher consequences for people who cross the border illegally. Unlike under Title 42, an individual who is removed under Title 8 is subject to at least a 5-year bar on re-entry into the United States and can face criminal prosecution if they attempt to cross again. Smugglers have long been hard at work spreading false information that the border will be open after May 11th. It will not be. They are lying. To people who are thinking of making the journey to our southern border, know this. The smugglers care only about profit, not people. They do not care about you or your well-being. Do not believe their lies. Do not risk your life and your life savings only to be removed from the United States if and when you arrive here. Today, we are beginning a new digital advertising campaign in Central and South America to counter the lies of the smugglers with accurate information about U.S. immigration laws. This campaign adds to our extensive ongoing communications efforts in the region. As you can see by the images before us of removal flights and encounters with our Border Patrol agents, we are making it very clear that our border is not open, that crossing irregularly is against the law, and that those who are not eligible for relief will be quickly returned.
So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here because going forward tomorrow, it's going to be an explosive day. We're going to have tens of thousands of migrants trying to cross, many getting caught, and the system being overloaded. And I'll keep you up to date here with everything happening here in our country on a daily basis. So if you haven't, make sure to click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon that appears afterwards. It's completely free to do so, so you don't miss out on any new videos. New videos come out here on our YouTube channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here's some videos you should watch next. Here's some shocking highlights of former President Donald Trump's interview, which was crazy, and President Biden being investigated in this video. And some shocking news about millions of people sending out, getting billions of dollars, and an unbelievable story here in this video. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.